welcome. We are getting booted up. We are getting booted up here, getting ready for the early access to start. Got about an hour before it starts. So I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. If you are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that sub button. Hit a like on the video. It really helps me out. It allows me to make sure that I am doing a good job. Just trying to get a few things set up here. Also, in the description below is my guild's Discord. You are more than welcome to come hang out with me in Discord. Everyone is welcome. We are the family above all. Alright, so we're going to be leveling up Snug, Demonology Warlock first. We need to get him set up, get him ready. He was one of my time running characters that I got brought over. I like the name, I like the fact that he's a Tauren Warlock. Kind of cool. So, we will be leveling up Snug instead of any of one of my other characters. So, inventory's already emptied out. I'm gonna go to War Bank, grab some gold. I don't have a lot. I'm not a rich man. We'll just draw 13,000. Just carry 15,000 with us. Get back to my spot. Hang out here for a few minutes. Let's see. I wonder. I wonder if I can hurry up and try to get a last minute Farrock kill and see if I can get that legendary axe while it's still in content. I don't want to have to come back and get it later. I know it's useless in actually in about an hour and a half, but nope, I've already done it. Alright. So let's get the old fingers and everything ready. Actually, that's something we could probably do. Do I still have that quest? Oh, I do. Do I still have the scroll? Yes, I do. Alright. I guess what we can do while we wait is we can do this quest for War Within. So let's get it brought up. Use the teleporter scroll to teleport to Syphilis. Syphilis, not syphilis. Meet Thrall. So let's teleport over. Hello, Thrall. How you doing today? Play the movie to remind me of the events so far. Do y'all want to see the movie? Yeah, let's watch the movie.
From the moment the Dark Titan Sargeras plunged his colossal blade into our world, crucial events were set in motion. Magni Bronzebeard heard the cries of Azeroth, giving up everything to answer her call.
Since being wounded by the Mad Titan, Azeroth has been crying out in pain.
As her dutiful speaker, he rallied the champions to her aid, and ultimately to confront the return of the old god, N'Zoth. It was during this conflict that Xal'atath, a mysterious entity of the Void, made a deal with N'Zoth, freeing her from the cursed blade that bound her essence within.
Honor our bargain. Free me to find my own fate.
After she vanished into the darkness, N'Zoth was confronted by the mortal champions and destroyed, ending the old god's reign of terror. But they were not the only malevolent force with its eyes set on Azeroth. For soon, the sky was sundered, the Shadowlands split open.
Yeah.
Our heroes were pulled into the realm of death itself.
It's called Shadowlands, and that's when we lost Anduin.
Anduin Rin endured the worst. Captured, tortured, and through dark domination magics, forced to commit terrible acts against his will.
I'm afraid that if I call on the light, it won't answer.
Scarred and shaken by his experience, he vanished, his whereabouts unknown. After the threat of the Shadowlands had been quelled, the dragons of Azeroth returned to their ancestral homeland. It was here that the primal dragon, Iridikron, broke free of his prison, and in pursuit of vengeance upon the Titans who he felt had stolen our world, he secured an ancient, powerful artifact, the Dark Heart.
When the Titans come to reclaim their prize, I will be waiting.
As word of this new threat started to spread,
So that means we're going to be fighting a Ridicron soon.
strange visions.
Hi, Thrall.
The Radiant Song.
It's being heard all across Azeroth. The Council doesn't know what to make of it.
It was then that Illyria Windrunner, a deadly huntress who had harnessed the powers of the Void as a weapon against the darkness, was summoned to investigate.
We still don't know what this Dark Heart relic is capable of, but we do know it's in the hands of someone called the Harbinger.
It was not long before Illyria discovered the Harbinger's true identity. Xal'atath, the mysterious figure, was once again on the move. While neither Xal'atath nor the Dark Heart could be found, her mentor, the enigmatic Locust Walker, issued Illyria a dire warning.
What kind of warning?
The visions you spoke of are the very same my people had before our world was consumed by the Void Lord Dimensius.
Could Xal'atath be seeking that same fate for Azeroth?
Not if we have something to do with it.
Find a way to stop her. If you cannot, then Azeroth is already doomed.
Alright. So Azeroth's already doomed. Huh. Look at this. Look at this. I didn't notice this last time I came through here and did this. Look at Anduin. Looking good as F. Looking kind of rugged. Alright, so we played the movie. So turned in the quest. We are all here. Good. Let us find out what the Radiant Song is trying to tell us. Never before has Azeroth called out so strongly to us, and despite its radiance of these visions, I fear that there is a dark reasoning for them. There is a strong evidence that the Radiant Song is a warning from Azeroth herself, a cry for help. That's why we're here. If this vision truly is Azeroth's message, Magni will know what she's trying to tell us. He should be in the Chamber of the Heart. Let's go. Go to the Heart of Chamber and ask Magni for help deciphering this Radiant Song. Let's go to the Heart.
I hear no one's seen him for a few years.
He'll
Ooh.
be there. He has to be.
Oh, that's all their little roleplay. Really nice cutscene.
Been trying to
If this is about the visions, I'm nae interested. Leave me alone.
Azeroth needs its speaker, and so do we.
For Azeroth.
I know why you're here. It's the visions, Azeroth's voice heard all across the lands. You thought I would know what she's trying to tell us. Well, you thought wrong.
Keep fighting, champion.
I haven't spoken with Azeroth for years. At first I just thought it didn't feel the need. Then I realized I had started to resent her for leaving me like this. And now I'm not sure if I can, but I know the stakes. The radiant song of her foretells something dire, and we need to know what. First, we need to prepare the heart chamber. Can ye start up the consoles nearby? Help Magni perform his ritual.
When the world is healed, Speaker of Azeroth. She hasn't been speaking to me. After all I gave, she left me like this. Unable. Let's be clear. I'm doing this for all of you, not for her.
This will be a struggle. I'm a bit rusty with the whole speaking with the soul of our world thing, but the ritual is prepared, and that's that, I suppose. I'll try speaking with her, though I warn you, champion, it might be for the last time. Are ye ready? Let's begin.
Azeroth, speak to me. What are you trying to tell us? I can hear her voice. I can see it. The place she's calling us to.
Where, Magni? Where must we go?
It's called
Magni!
He's alive, but barely.
Oh no. Jaina, what are we gonna do?
another home lost to war.
This has never happened before. Magni is the speaker of Azeroth. Why would communing with her cause him to collapse?
Be careful who you trust.
Magni appears stable for now, but he is still not responsive. We need to get him treatment quickly. I will open a portal to Dalaran. Follow us when you can. Take the portal to Dalaran.
I will never forget. Hopefully we can revive him. Meet us in Dalaran when you're able.
The World Within. World of Warcraft. That's a really nice cutscene.
He tried to commune directly with Azeroth. It seems the strain was too much.
What have you done to yourself this time?
We will defend Azeroth together.
Troubling times lie ahead, but don't But don't they always? At least we can face them together.
Always happy.
I'm unsure why the Speaker of Azeroth would end up in such a state after attempting to, well, speak with the Azeroth. All we can do is wait for Magni to recover.
Remain vigilant.
You need a hammer? Or an old
Father,
hand?
Da, what have you gotten yourself into this time? You can't leave us like this. Please be alright, you old coot. The Bronzebeard family.
You may take your leave.
We need to let Bran and my son, Dragon, Dagon? Dagran? Dagran. Dagran know what has happened. There's a dollar and visitor center. Could ye go get them for me? Father needs his family right now. Head to Bran and Dagran in the Dollar and Visitor Center to inform them what has happened to Magni.
Try to sniffle. You'll likely find Dagrin with his nose in a book. It's why he insisted
Oh,
we come to Dalaran.
we go up, and away.
Have you seen these new tomes, Uncle Bran? They must be from Drenton's
Hey
land.
there, champion. Dagran and I were just pursuing the local books and whatnot. Lad couldn't be more excited for his first visit to Dalaran. What you bring here? Magni's hurt. Mora needs you both in the portrait room.
Don't do any.
I hope Granddad's all right. I never got to spend much time with him.
Don't worry, lad. Magni's made of stern stuff. Pardon the pun.
Best mind your manners in the presence of a queen.
It's good for all of us to be here in one room together, even if the reasons are so dire. My father hasn't really been a part of Dagon's Dagran's life, but I mean to change that. You have my word. Thank ye, Snug.
May your hammer strike true.
Let's get to work. It is a world of wonder. Be
Oh, I've already
mindful of
completed
your
that,
feet.
which is down here. See, I'm going in completely nicky. Alright. There's a podcast that came across. I think we should watch the podcast. It's like a 30-minute thing, so that'll feed up a little bit of our time. Let's see if I can get that podcast brought up. It is the Wowcast One-on-One with Chris Metzen.
I didn't think Zerglings, morphing into orcs would work, but
No, I didn't either.
it's been a privilege working on Zergorks.
Hi, I'm Scott Johnson, the host of the World of Warcraft podcast, The Instance, and today I'm sitting here with Chris Metzen. Chris,
Scott, it's good to see you, man.
good to see you. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's a crazy time. We're about to launch The War Within and, really kick off this massive World Soul saga, which is a trip.
So, if you haven't known, if you didn't watch BlizzCon, Chris Metzen came out on stage and announced that there's going to be a World Soul saga. So, this expansion and the next two expansions are basically 3 parts. The saga is a 3-part expansion, and it's supposed to take us, through the storyline, which he'll explain that in this podcast as well. So, you'll get an understanding of what that means.
Is, I haven't shipped a video since the War Within, and really kick off this massive World Soul saga, which is a trip because I haven't shipped a video game in 8 or 9 years, so it's kind of wild going through this process again and just kind of feeling that anticipation. Excited to see what people think, and when the product finally gets into people's hands, it's
What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the new expansion coming out, War Within? I played the beta. I have my opinions on it. I have. Oh, stretching and yawning for some reason. But no, I have a pretty good feeling that this expansion is going to be a pretty good expansion.
it's one of my favorite parts of the whole development process.
Well, let me ask you this question, because you reminded me of how long this has been going. I remember firing up the World of Warcraft OG vanilla World of Warcraft and seeing a trailer that said celebrating 10 years of Warcraft. And I remember
10 years. I remember that. I remember the 10-year anniversary. And the fact that we're going on 20 years of World of Warcraft is crazy. But they'll talk about that in this podcast as well.
to be kidding me. That's insane. That's how long I've been playing these games. And now we're 20 years on top of that, 30 years total. That has to be a little overwhelming, especially given that you were here for most of that, had a bit of a break, now you're back. Does that weigh on you? Do you feel the heat from the time? Like, how do you feel?
If you don't know, Chris Metzen is the creative director for World of Warcraft. He is the one that is taking everyone's vision, everyone's suggestion, and leading it down into a creative storyline for us. So he's basically the person that is in charge of our content and how we receive our content. So if you didn't know, that's who he is. And the guy on the left is just an avid WoW player, and he is hosts the podcast, The Instance. So if you haven't gone and listened to any of his podcasts before, take a look at it, listen at him, support them, give them a sub, follow them. They have some really good episodes. They're really great. So if you take a time, go do that.
How that entire process has gone?
I don't feel kind of heat or like the weight of time, relative to expectation. It's really weird, being a little older, a little wiser. Feels like 100 years ago, feels like 5 minutes ago, all at the same time. So when I look at this,
I feel the same way about that though. Like I feel that I just started playing WoW like a few years ago, but I've been playing since 2006. I've been playing since the start of BC. And or not the start of BC, midway through BC, Wrath of the Lich King was coming out in a few months because I saw the trailer launch for Wrath of the Lich King, and then I was like, okay. So I think I started playing halfway through BC, probably the start of BC, around that time frame. I can't remember exactly. It's been so long.
the stuff we're building right now, thankfully there's an immediacy of it all to me. It's just we live and die by how good the things we're sculpting in real time is. Trying to hold it all in your head, the weight of the past, it's kind of beyond me. I can't really wrap my head around like all the history all at once. I mean, there's kids graduating college right now named Jaina and Anduin. It's like, what? I often find it's not all that helpful to overdwell on, in the course of development. You want to keep it focused on what you're doing at the time. So that's how I try and balance it out. One day I'm sure I'll look back and go, wow. Working on this game again has really given me more of an immediate sense of gratification that just kind of keeps you focused in the moment. And that's generally, where my head is at on a day-to-day basis.
When you mentioned people naming their kids after characters that you created, that you named, and that you developed and saw grow and evolve and everything, something that's interesting about War Within so far, to me, is we're seeing the gang kind of back together in a much more complete way. So you're seeing Anduin talking to Thrall with Jaina nearby, and Khadgar, my favorite worst wizard of all time, but I love him. He's there. They're all there.
Yeah.
And what that tells me is that we're in for some coming together of a lot of strings, a lot of stuff that has been out there for 20 years that will finally converge in some meaningful ways. Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
I'll break it down. When I came back, I'm like, all right, let's go. World of Warcraft. Like, what do we got? What are we making? And they were in, they had already been doing War Within, or what would become, War Within, for about 10 months. While I liked what they were building and thought it was a cool next chapter in WoW, in my head, I'm like, for the 20th anniversary of WoW, like, I want to have a feeling, like, whatever the product becomes, I want to have a feeling of pulling all the toys out of the toy box, right? Like older characters, the kind of macro thing.
What has been some of y'all's favorite aspects of WoW? That's what I would like to know. Like the character development, the character transformation through the years. That's what I like.
That the series has been about all these years: Titans, Old Gods, Light and Dark. I wanted to feel like the anniversary was capturing, like this kind of mix of all of the core flavors, and ultimately proofing out that there has been this storyline all the way through, that everything kind of converges into this crescendo. And in a very real way, how the War Within was shaping up, they're like, yeah, dude, like there's no way on earth, right? That that's going to divert the course of Mighty Rivers. There's no way to get that done on top of what we're already in production on. So that begat this idea of a larger saga. I'm like, okay, well, what if we can get there in X number of steps? What if we can build to something just ridiculous, but it might take a couple expansions to do.
And that's where they came up with the 3-part saga, where we have War Within, Midnight, and The Last Titans. Those are the next 3 expansions, and those expansions are going to be crescendoing, as he says, into what we are expecting to fulfill.
And somehow, folks, bought in on it. Like, whoa, that's wild. Let's go. And so, Taryn Gregory and I, Taryn's our, principal story developer. So we work together every day, and we talk a lot about, like, we want to involve all these epic characters, but like when they're in the scene, they eat all the oxygen, and they could just go off and solve for X. So it's this balance between including all these mega characters and then finding clever ways to get them out of the way, so that the player has maximum agency and the newer characters we're introducing have space to breathe and live.
It sounds like it is almost an advantage to come to something that had already been started. If you'd come to the end of Dragonflight and started from there, that's a little big. It's a bigger buy. It's like, well, wait a minute, where are we going now? We've been flying. Okay, what does that mean? What do we do? And instead, you were presented with some beginnings, and then you got to decide where those beginnings took you.
And vector it a little bit. The trick to, after all these years, creative direction, which even today, I don't know that I could do a thesis on, right? Creative direction is as unique as the person doing it and the chemistry of the team that you're working with. But kind of finding that balance again of having strong ideas and kind of saying, like, I want to go this way, right? But the team had already been, kind of constructing this thing.
So again, like I was saying, he is talking about being the creative director and getting his team's input and being able to produce content and a product for us that will keep us captivated, that will keep us energized and keep us, wanting more and more and more.
Maximizing kind of the things that they are most passionate about, the ideas that they're kind of dug in on, and finding a way to bend everything towards a singular purpose, but boosting their sense of ownership.
So when you got up on stage at BlizzCon, it was pretty magical for players. I can say that.
I will say that I was glad when they announced that Chris Metzi was coming back as the creative director, because he did take a hiatus there for about a little bit, and it was nice to have him come back to the Blizzard um, franchise and allow them to have creative vision over where we're going and what we're doing.
For myself and a lot of people that I know, and a lot of fans of the game saw this as a return to something. And I think we're coming off an excellent expansion in
Couldn't say
Dragonflight.
it much myself, Scott.
But you got up and did something that surprised everybody, which was we're not doing the normal, here comes the next expansion, here are the features, here's the storyline in its basic way. We are going to do a trilogy of essentially games. You spoke a lot about bringing, tying up some loose ends, but also creating a saga that is 3 parts at least, uh, and setting up really the next 20 years of the game, perhaps. That's very different than what.
That's a good point. The next 20 years of this game. Now, for people who are quote unquote OGs, we've been already playing this game for 15 to 20 years. And for me, since I've been playing since '06, I've been playing this game for 18 years myself. So it's getting to the point to where I started playing this when I was 18. I'm 36 now. In 2 years, I've been playing this game almost, almost my whole life. I mean, over my whole half of my life already.
Any of you have done up to this point. Did that present unique challenges to the way you wanted to create story, the way
Hey,
you
welcome to
wanted
the
your
stream. Hope
characters to
you
progress?
enjoy it. If you aren't subscribed, go
Yeah,
ahead
it
and hit that
created
sub button.
all sorts of complexities.
Drop a like as well.
Um,
Hey, Fly Girl.
under the hood a little bit, it's interesting in how when I came back on the team, the development process and even the conceptualizing process, like where does the expansion take place? What are the main themes?
Getting ready for the early access for the War Within for World of Warcraft. So we're watching the one-on-one interview with the podcast host Scott from the instance with the creative director of World of Warcraft. So that's what we're watching now. We got a little under an hour, uh, about a little over an hour actually, about an hour and 2 minutes before we get to early access and then get to gameplay. So that's what I'm getting excited for, getting ready for. I'm about to go put some snacks in the air fryer, get some chicken nuggies ready, because that's my gamer fuel, some chicken nuggies and some french fries. So let's get back to it.
Much more democratized, right? And people were, had kind of found their voice in the balance of all the special teams that comprised the World of Warcraft team. They'd really built the vision of Dragonflight together. So as I came back in, woohoo, and there were folks going like, oh wow, how is this going to change our dynamic? In terms of being a creative director, like will we still have a voice? Will we still have stakes in how this all shapes out? So,
And that's a good point. Like a friend of mine, hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. If you're not sub, go ahead and hit that sub button. First time chatter here, so hit the sub, hit the like. Everything a little bit helps. But he had brought up a good point, and a friend of mine was talking to me about this last night. He is the manager or the team lead of a group of people that are coders for software engineers and stuff like that. Well, he was telling me about the story that one of his buddies was writing code for an open platform based game, and he didn't have a voice when he left. And then his game became fruition, and he's like, I coded this. And no one believed him, so he went and rewrote the code and did exactly what it was doing in other games. So he didn't have a voice because he was let go, so he didn't have a voice anymore. Well, that's what they're getting on here is this thing, and that's a major concern when you're in a creative team like this. Like, is my voice going to be heard? Is the little man going to get to be able to speak their mind and be able to put input into this? So let's see what Chris has to say about that.
Like I was saying earlier, kind of learning that again and learning that balance again, and coming in as creative director and be like, no, I'm not here to be, hyper prescriptive with everything as I might have been as a younger dude, but like really listening for the team's instincts. Like, what are they responding to? What do they want to build? What do the artists want to make? What are they imagining in terms of that pure vision? So on top of that, the complexity of, I don't think this gives up the ghost on anything. Like, we're building 3 of these at a time. This is, yeah, I'll say it. It's insane. It's insane,
Yeah.
right? On top of the team, over a year ago, having committed to like an 8-week cadence.
Yeah.
So these folks are, we are moving so fast, and so the difference here is, guys like Taryn and I have to map out where we're going, like way ahead of the caravan, which is its own really interesting kind of work, right? Checking in with everybody. Does this feel cool? Everybody hip? I want to make sure that we're building things that, not only, again, my instinct feels are cool and fun, but that the team is proud to build and that they feel they have a voice in and, can express themselves through where the story's going, what the ideas are. We're already mapping out, whatever, 13.1 and 13.2 and how they actually play out and connect, and it's wild.
So he said they're already mapping out 13.1 and 13.2. Just put that in perspective. We're in 10.2 or 10.3 or something like that. Like, when the new expansion comes out, it's going to be 11.0. So they've already got everything mapped out from now and up to 13.2, which would be the third installment of this trilogy, or the Warsaw Saga.
Step back and see a far more cohesive vision and a far more um, refined idea over time. So, and without again, without spilling any beans, it's like, we're already, honestly, we're already talking about you know the next few, post, upwards of like 17. And it's just keeping the conveyor belt going. It's like we're loud and clear. The fans want more.
That's cool. So he just said that they're already talking upwards to 17.0. That's 4 expansions away. 5 expansions away. I mean, like, they're talking like a few, like 10 years worth of expansions.
More regularly. So, in a way, just staying ahead of that curve and making sure that everything, again, is of purpose and telling this much longer story. It's been a blast. The creative, the pure creative on Warcraft, for the past year and a half has been, how would I put it, over such a long span of time. I want to say it's one of the most nuclear creative phases I've seen for Warcraft. But the pace is wild, right? Like, the pace is wild, and it's like I ain't 30 anymore, so we joke around all the time, like, we need to start instituting, company naps in the middle of the afternoon for the old folks. But it has been pretty amazing.
That's a great way of thinking about it. Speaking of personal connections to characters and story, somebody close to you, who I think is a very wise human, once said online somewhere that Chris is Anduin in some ways, kind of worn out, beaten up by a straight period of like nonstop work, right? But also on the other end of it, he's a little bit back to being thrall.
I didn't get around to watching this interview. It's awesome, and I get to hang out with you and watch the rest of it. This has me excited to be a player. Yeah, man, you're more than welcome. I'm glad I get to show it a little bit. I just hope I don't go ding for copyrights, but it is what it is. But yeah, I'm just re-showing something that's open source because you can see this interview anywhere. But basically, I'm just doing my reaction to it, which is kind of funny because I've never done a reaction style video before. So this will be the first. But yeah, this scene right here, this cut scene right here, is what got me hype for the War Within. Seeing Anduin like this, all rugged, defeated, choked up looking, you know, his hair's tattered, his cloak is tattered and worn and dirty. And then Thrall over here with, the gray hair, salt and peppered look, the silver fox look going on. Like that look right, this scene got me the most excited for it.
And those two characters represent these two parts of who this person is. How much of these characters moving forward or even in the past have represented you where you were in your life? Like some people say, well, the early
No,
versions
it's
of
not
these
in the
characters
game.
look
It's a
fun,
screenshot at the
metal.
start. It's like
Even
a trailer.
the chieftains, they look like these metal
Yeah.
dudes and everything. And now
You can find the trailer anywhere. We can go back and watch the trailer. That's fine.
maturing. They're
After this, I'll go
moving
get the
on in
trailer.
world, like you are, like everyone who's worked on this does. Like that's time. Do you think that's a fair thing to say, that we'll see these characters change and evolve in the same way that maybe you have, and they're kind of your avatars?
Yeah, no, I know where you're going. So there's kind of an A and a B there. Like the B, which is easier, is certainly we want to push these characters forward. We want to show some aging. We are currently doing that. But yeah, we talk about that a lot. There are many new characters over the arc of the saga that we don't want to be just one-off. We want them to be, pals and working together to solve these big problems. But certainly the characters that have been around a while, we're trying to.
Well, see, what I do, Tor, is at the start of every expansion, I personally go back and I watch every single Cinemax and everything like that from the very first expansion, which is World of Warcraft, the vanilla, and I'll go through and I'll watch the Cinemax of each expansion leading up to the War Within. Like, I get goosebumps. And like I'm even getting goosebumps now thinking about some of them. Yeah, like BFA Battle for Azeroth. His cutscene that I remember most is when he kind of looked like Brad Pitt when he was calling upon the light to do mass resurrection. That's the most iconic scene that I remember mostly and fondly of when they were doing the battle for shoot, what's the name? Uh Undercity. Oh, what were they? What was the name of that town? But anyway, I will remember it later. But that battle, that scene in that battle, I remember fondly.
Way to like capture that age up, not necessarily age out, but like, okay, so in that cinematic at BlizzCon, they went in and put like gray streaks in Thrall's hair. I'm like, oh,
It looked great.
it got me.
Look how amazing he looks.
They went in and put like gray streaks in Thrall's hair. I'm like, oh,
It looked great.
Look how amazing he looks. I mean, the Cinemax is on point, but he looks like he's so much wiser than he was before.
it got me. It's like, whoa. And just Anduin, staring you down. It's like our little boys all grows up. It's
You feel for him. You're supposed to feel for him, right?
which was the point. But just the idea that these characters are moving through their own continuum and progressing and moving through stuff. Like,
Yeah, I really do
what
enjoy it.
Trip, looking back from where we started, to the point where these are fairly fully realized characters within this setting. And it's just incredibly satisfying that way to see that progression. And certainly us as storytellers, as people, as we, it's not necessarily. It is certainly getting older, but it's also just experience over time. Big life moments, becoming parents, finding love, finding your career, all these big kind of life, hurdles. It's like, I tell folks all the time, like, don't be afraid to pour yourself into this stuff. You know, even when you're like, oh God, will the people down the hall dig it? You know, will I be judged? Like, yes, probably. But the answer is you're an artist. Go get it, right? Find your truth. Because often when, you know, we're pulling from a place of like deeply personal experience, someone's going to feel that on the other end of the line. You know, as you're playing the game, it's like some of those themes that really matter. Whether you're a writer, quest designer, narrative folks, cinematics, you know, like the game design, you know, like everyone kind of pours themselves into their craft.
See, there were several moments in this game that pulled me into an emotional state. When Varian, oh Varian, that one got me the most out of every one of them was Varian. So, yeah, I would say that it is possible for games to move you to the point to where you can't be judged because I was emotional for days when I watched the cinematics on that.
And I think sometimes the more risk you take, I think you get more genuinely affecting content. I think people feel that they feel you in it one way or another. There are many themes embedded in the World Soul Saga, evidenced by different characters, that are very pointedly things that I think today or I'm struggling with today, for sure. But again, I think about it in terms of like as the team's creative leader, that's not the job as much. I think the job is like trying to learn to call them out, you know, and challenge them to kind of breathe their own experience into it. It's not the job as much.
Speaking of what he just said, there are many instances in the game that pulled on me emotionally, and I end up having to break down, having to take a break because it just hits me so hard at times, especially in Shadowlands. Yeah, Shadowlands was a good example of that. There was a lot of moments in Shadowlands that got me as well, in the storyline and stuff, and especially here towards the end of Dragonflight when Yasar finally got to rest. I mean, like that in itself hurt me a lot because like I already knew that she was in the Shadowlands, but then she came to Dragonflight and she was helping, in the Emerald Dream. And when she finally got laid to rest, when she finally was able to, you know, finally get the rest that she deserved, I was emotional. I mean, I got goosebumps, I got teary eyed, and everything.
Job is like trying to learn to call them out, you know, and challenge them to kind of breathe their own experience into it, as opposed to pouring my own in. So it's a balance.
I assume that's what, over time, you have a character. We'll stick with Thrall for a minute. He's probably the most well known of the Chris Metz, and certainly voice him. So
until they find somebody better.
Until they find somebody better, maybe you'll age out of it. I don't know. We're getting there. But no, that you've breathed enough life into that character and given them enough direction over so much time that I have to think in a lot of cases they start to run on their own gas. And while I'm not asking you to tell me if there's any tragedy coming at all, we're not even suggesting it here.
I have a kill list.
Do you?
I've got like my top 12 characters. Like they're all going.
He's got a kill list. Huh. I'm currently going through Dragonflight. Yasar really got me in Legion. That actually made me cry when I saw the cutscene and gave me goosebumps. Yeah, I remember that in Legion. But yeah, he's got a kill list. Top 12 characters that he'd like. They're all going.
Top of the list. I kid. I love gags.
There's no kill list.
All right, good. But you know what I mean. You might find yourself going, well.
You see those eyes?
It might be time for character.
Did you see those eye that eye roll?
I kid.
Watch the eye roll.
There's no kill list.
All right, good. But you know what I mean. You might find yourself going, well. It might be time for character X to take a character dive.
We so there's no. I'm kidding. There's no kill list.
Do what? Oh, you were talking to me?
Necessarily. But we do talk about this stuff all the time. And the only, when you start talking about knocking off main characters, it's not a small thing. And usually that is in service to, in the general story you're developing, if you really need to punctuate, dramatic stakes, the easiest thing to do is ask Lucas, blow up a planet, or knock off a main character.
Tyrion Fordling, for example.
Oh, Tyrion.
Yeah, I do.
I do.
I'm still gripping on that one.
Yeah.
I said Varian, but I meant Tyrion.
No pressure, though. I'm just saying it was a rough moment.
No pressure. So we do talk about it from time to time, but we try and frame it with
There's
the
the Yasar.
greatest gravity possible, and trying to be clear that this franchise has another 20 years in it. It's a big ongoing idea, and losing critical characters is costly. So it's we talk about it from time to time. I won't tell you we won't lose anybody over the arc of the saga. Those types of moments are all about establishing stakes and that emotional,
Yeah, I miss him too.
from the player ultimately. So
Does it help populate the World Soul Saga as a creative place to know that over the last few years, while
This next few sections, I don't remember exactly when it's said, but just be very mindful of what he says. When Chris talks, be very mindful of what he says, because he kind of hints at something.
you were gone for much of it, the team has made a real effort or a priority out of having allied races discovered in the world that players can not only unlock but then be and might prefer over the originals or whatever. Like this additional diversity for choice seems like a really potent way to fill your world with more interesting characterization rather
Yeah,
than all sorts
Vulcan.
of humans
That
and
was a
all
rough
others.
one too.
I love it. Just old school D&D and all these options on player expression, what kind of what culture you want to be from.
Going
I
off
love
mic.
that kind of stuff. So opening that up, especially like Battle for Azeroth and the inclusion of all these new silhouettes and flavors or whatever, I thought was awesome actually. And even the ones I didn't think I would play, I wound up I rolled a Volpera.
Yeah.
Hunter, and then I consistently dress him like Robin Hood from the old Disney movie. So it's like I actually really dig a lot of the flavors that have been added over time. Like it's in my opinion, the water's warm. Everybody in the pool, I think WoW can stretch and grow to encapsulate all of these flavors. I think giving players more options, more visual options is awesome. At the end of the day, I think erring on the side of player choice, player agency is the right move. Like why you're playing this game in the first place, right? When you imprint, especially when it's your character, when you imprint on a look or a vibe or like a vision that you connect with, it's like go get it.
So let's bring it full circle to what is imminent, which is the war within. Players have a lot of expectations. Some of it is based on just excitement because there is a 3-part saga coming. They're not used to that. There's a whole new structure to this. So what would you say to players who are pins and needles about this next expansion, the start of the big grand story?
As we were talking about earlier, we've never been in a situation where we've shaped the whole giddy up, all at once. So there's the adventure component of the War Within, and then there's the max level campaign, and then there's the subsequent patches, and it's all been designed to kind of play out over time. Narrative threads and sinews, kind of linking everything together. Personally, a little biased, but I think it's off the hook, right? At the end of the day, I would want people to remember it is still only, however, part one of a much larger narrative, and I would want people to look at it that way. It's meant to rise and crescendo with its own max level campaign.
Will I be expected to walk in Quest 1 and yank the sword from the planet?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I would say to that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Here you go.
Actually,
Watch. Listen to this.
The resolution of the sword.
Listen
that
to
we
this.
Started with at BlizzCon. Actually, that's a 13 thing. We're gonna build to that.
Yes.
And it's a doozy.
I got this also for tacos.
From Azeroth.
I would even say,
Listen.
you are not prepared for that moment, and leave it at that. But it is a 13
You
issue.
are not prepared.
Ultimately, things like Xalatath. We've been doing a lot of work.
Really?
to
Come
build
on.
her up.
I'm excited
She's a
about
very
that.
different kind of villain.
That little tidbit right there is
Not
basically
like a
saying
Deathwing type,
that
villain
Illidan
where,
is coming
he's
back.
just flying and burning everything and like, oh crap, we're gonna, clearly he's where the storyline ends. She's built in such a way that like we're gonna be confronted by her and face her multiple times over the arc of the saga. So it's not going to be this one and done type like.
Do you want something to eat, baby, before you go to school?
You know, she's meant to, you know, kind of weave
I can
in
make
and
you
out of
some
the game over time.
chicken nuggets real quick.
That's something I would say. But definitely the sword thing sticks in
I can
my
make
head.
you
know,
a turkey
certain of
sandwich.
these themes are built to play out over time. So I hope people are into that. I hope they're into, you know, a longer form engagement. Because in a way, you know, so many of our expectations kind of, you know, crystallize around like, well, wait a minute, I didn't get the full meal I was expecting in 11.0. It's not built to be that. It's built
That's
to
what
be
it sounds like,
fun.
right?
So
Illidan's coming back.
you know, the ride will be, I hope,
Well, here.
insane and insanely fulfilling. Going back to that promise of the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft, like I want this saga to feel like it is just the perfect crescendo of 20 years of storytelling, you know, as we said at BlizzCon.
You gonna make your mama a
There is
sandwich?
sense that we are
Huh?
fulfilling something.
What?
The 20 years.
I don't know.
And we'll end this November. I guess November's launch, right? Yeah, 20-year anniversary will be this November. Yeah. And
You are a
there's
great daughter.
feeling, I can tell you from the player
Great
side,
daughter would make her dad a sandwich too.
really coming
A
to
great
something
daughter would
special.
make her dad a sandwich
And
too.
I know that puts pressure on the team when players collectively have an idea that they think should happen, and then the team's like, well, we're kind of going a different way.
You can't be
But
the
I
king of
don't know if I've
sandwiches.
felt
You can
this
be the
much
queen of
positive
sandwiches.
Feedback in a long time about
I did
just
too.
where
I said you
things are
can't be
headed.
the king, but
And
you could be the
nobody
queen.
says that about a 20-year-old property usually. Usually we're like,
There's not a lot of precedent we have, right? Like that's the same contiguous project.
Your sandwiches are better. I've done said that
It's gonna be
before.
fun for 20 years, no question. But like, it is honestly a blessing, and often sometimes
Maybe I'll make
just
tacos
trying
tonight.
to, sift through the sheer volume of all of these details.
Yes.
Poor Sean Copeland, right? Just trying to keep it all, make it all make sense. But it is also its principal strength. Particularly because it's an MMO and a video game, because you've lived these moments. You didn't just passively watch. You didn't just,
That's something that he brings up. That's a pretty good point. Like, we didn't watch these happen to other people. Like, we lived these moments. We lived when Deathwing came and cataclysmed them, the Azeroth. We lived when the Lich King. Like, we lived through it. Like, we fought.
Nerd.
You're a nerd too. You want me to call you a weeb?
What counts as me being a nerd, though?
You're a gamer just like I am.
I'm not into that kind of gaming. You're kind of nerdy.
You play Roblox.
Roblox isn't nerdy, though.
Debatable.
That, however, is extremely nerdy. Now, if you would have said you play Genshin, then yes, that would have made me nerdy.
You're nerdy regardless.
But Roblox is not nerdy.
Anyway, so we lived through all these moments. We fought through all these moments.
watch a movie. You've lived these moments, and they matter. And
That scene right there. That's my favorite scene of Battle for Azeroth.
Try and push the world forward without breaking everything that came before, which is its own kind of challenge. It's a very noble
You
challenge.
like ketchup
right?
and mayonnaise?
It's a privilege to
Ketchup
tread
and
water
mustard?
in this complexity of this setting. After all of these
You
years,
want
it's
ketchup and
amazing that
mustard
it's
on
still
it?
the same stakes. It's still the same world that you've always
well,
known.
there's a future I see where you're, reclining
I
in
just
some
didn't
sort
know
of chair,
With the blanket over my
blanket
knees,
over your
sitting by a
knees,
fire,
keeping you warm, and you're looking back and you're thinking,
telling kids to stay off my
wow.
lawn. I
Yeah,
know, I know.
exactly. And they're all in their haptic suits playing whatever version of WoW they have, and looking back at Grandpa's accomplishments, and I think it looks like something to be pretty proud of already. Well, I, for one, could not be more excited about this next expansion and the entirety of the world of Soul Saga, and I think you and your team should be proud, and I wish you guys nothing but luck in the next few weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No, I didn't know it was that low.
That was hard to
All right, so there is the podcast. Now let's look up.
I want to make sure that was you and not Kai. I don't know anymore.
All right, so we're gonna go real nerdy. Here we go.
I lost the cheese
This
for a
is
minute.
going to be the starting from the start.
My bad. You're good. I always put cheese on yours. I think.
4 years have passed since the mortal races banded together and stood united against the might of the Burning Legion. Though Azeroth was saved, the tenuous pact between the Horde and the Alliance has all but evaporated. The drums of war thunder once again.
No ketchup. Just mustard. And the mayo. And I would like cheese on mine, because you're the cheese queen. "32 minutes until start. 32 minutes. Can you count down that time with me?" Oh, I know. Alright, so now we gotta find BC. Thanks. I said thanks.
Imprisoned for 10,000.
Here's your boy Illidan, Chris.
Banished from my own
Hey, welcome to the stream. If my computer gets unplugged at 5 o'clock on the dot, I am punching people.
You are not prepared.
So you made me a Down syndrome sandwich? Always got excited over this. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Internet. 120, 80, 120, 94. One thing I forgot.
You are not prepared.
Jesus, how much money did we put in there?
Well, you gave me 30 with the first 2 days. And then he kept giving me 5s and he gave me 15. And then I
So
think
we
I
were
ended up
both
getting another
supplying.
10.
We were both supplying you with money.
Yeah, even though you both knew that you were supplying me with money, you just kept giving me more. And I was so confused. And I was like, okay, free, get more drink from me. So I love those flat punches, man.
My son, the day you were born, the very forests of Lordaeron whispered the name Arthas.
Love you too. Oh my god.
Love you, Ash.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Love you, baby. Arthas was a good paladin, but when he became the Lich King, this scene right here was my favorite cutscene. I watched this over. I'm getting goosebumps now.
To a weapon of righteousness.
This was my favorite cutscene of all time.
Remember, our line has always ruled.
I mean, I don't think it shows it very well, but I mean, my arm is just caked with goosebumps right now.
know you will show restraint when exercising your great power.
Center Ghost.
But the truest victory, my son.
This scene right here,
stirring
this
your
part
hearts.
gave me the most goosebumps ever. Like when they all turned back around towards you. And you just see like a wall of blue lights.
I tell you
Oh.
this, for when my days have come to an end, you shall be king.
Oh. Whew. Alright, what was next? Cataclysm?
torment. Its wretched kingdoms quake beneath my rage.
Zero.
But at last, the whole of Azeroth will break. And all will burn beneath the shadow of my wings.
Cataclysm was a very, very good expansion. Alright, what was next? Yeah. I thought you weren't going to take it off yet. You gotta... Which way did she stick the needle in? When she stuck the needle through your nose, which way did she do it? Did she go this way? Or this way? Alright, so that means that she went like this. So... I think you turn it towards you. You might have to give it a little tug though, okay? Alright, so I'm pretty sure Mist was next. No, was Mist next or was Warlords of Draenor? Mist. Well, we'll find out. Doesn't matter. We're watching them all anyway.
To ask why we fight is to ask why the leaves fall. It is in their nature. Perhaps there is a better question.
I always thought that was the funniest part of this whole. You get it? That looks good. Yeah. Yeah, this is the trailer for Mist of Pandaria.
Why do we fight? To protect home and family. To preserve balance and bring harmony. For my kind, the true question is, what is worth fighting for?
Alright, we gotta hurry up. We're getting close on time. Got 18 minutes.
Drink, Hellscream. Claim your destiny. You will all be conquerors. And what, Gul'dan, must we give in return? Everything. Reject this gift. And did you
Paris.
Warlords of Draenor. Alright. Next up is Legion. Oh, this is the sad one. Very sad.
My son, a terrible darkness has returned to our world. As before, it seeks to annihilate everything that we hold dear. I go to face it, knowing I may not return.
They're coming! They're coming back!
All my life I have lived by the sword. I've seen kingdoms burn and watched brave heroes die in vain. It's been difficult for me to trust after losing so much. But from you, I have learned patience, tolerance, and faith.
Open fire!
Yeah, I miss Varian as well.
Anduin, I now believe, as you do, that peace is the noblest aspiration. But to preserve it, you must be willing to fight. For Azeroth!
Alright, now we got Battle for Azeroth. We're running out of time.
Ours is a cycle of hatred. Alliances forged and broken.
Yeah.
We have paid the price for sharing this world. And we have forgotten what makes us strong.
Close rank! Advance has won! Lordaeron will be ours! My king, we have her cornered.
Keep firing!
This is my favorite part of the whole Cinemax coming up. This is gonna be our last one because we got 5 minutes.
For the Alliance!
Alright. Wait, did they start early? Oh shit, they started early. I'm behind. Alright, guys, here we go. Starting quest. Oh wait, no, we've already completed this. Whew. Here we go. This is the official launch, early access, not official launch. This is the early access for World of Warcraft first quest going into the War Within. Let's get started.
The Titan installation mentioned in Alderman's records.
Once more, Dalaran is called to the aid of our world. Magni?
Azeroth showed me a vision of a city in flames in the ancient lands of Kaz Algar.
Appreciate it.
Her voice was desperate. We must act quickly.
Archmage Drendon has proposed, and the Council agrees, that we bring the full force of Dalaran to this Kaz Algar. Make ready, our people, and prepare the city for teleportation. Whatever lies
We're
ahead,
teleporting Dalaran again. Yes.
together.
All right, let's go make ready with everybody.
There remains much to be done. Remain vigilant.
Let's go help the citizens prepare.
You'll find me wherever the action is.
Hello there. Your old... If Kaz Algar is under attack, we must prepare for the worst.
All right, so we got someone over here inside this little building. Where are they at? Oh. I didn't see the extraction button. Strengthen the ward. Oop. Oh, it didn't strengthen. There we go. All right, man. We'll see you when you get back. How is eating some cheese gonna help? All right, citizens have been helped. We got a couple more wards to do. Wait, it finished. Why didn't it take credit? There we go. All right, all 3 quests are complete.
Greetings from the Council. Ah, good to see you. Be mindful of your...
All right, we're ready to depart. Noise. Noise, noise, noise.
It's even more amazing than I'd imagined. But my visions were of fire and war.
Something's wrong. I need need to find Khadgar. Trending. Where's the rest of the council?
Drenden's been dead for years.
All this time. And you never once sensed my presence. Oh, it's not time for that yet. But if you're so eager for a fight, perhaps this can keep you occupied. Until we meet again, Valeria.
Oh shit.
How could I be so blind? Dalaran will not be a fly in Zalatak's web.
I require a target. I need to target something first. Too far away. I do not have a target. I must get closer. I require a target. I do not have a
I believe so.
I need to target something first. I do not have a target. I need to target something first. I require a target.
Alright, we got all the citizens to safety. Now we just got to get all the small little lads killed. If we can. Alright, that's complete.
I am on the hunt. They will not escape. There could still be more survivors. With me, champion! Cut through the sewers and find Khadgar.
Glad to see you haven't evacuated yet. The Nerubians are capturing the rogues who live down here. Let's rescue them.
So far, this quest line's pretty interesting.
Head to that sewer grate. The exit should be on the right. And here's our exit. Am I needed? I hear a radiant soul. I'll get them to safety. Try to find Khadgar.
Yeah, it's interesting, for sure. Alright, man.
High in the sky and nowhere to flee. Gather all you can find. Bring them below. Xalatath has plans for them.
I could have done something. Oh, shit. Big boy.
There you are, champion. Those who escaped will still need help.
Khadgar, we meet at last.
Zalatath, I presume.
This city is home to such power, all squandered by the Kirin Tor. I'll put it to much better use.
Like hell you will.
What the fuck?
There you are.
Illyria!
Get out of my head! Khadgar!
This isn't the real fight.
Goodbye, Guardian.
We lost Khadgar! What the fuck? Dalaran! What the actual hell is going on? First Khadgar, now Dalaran?
Over here! I found them! I'll get these rocks off you. Just let me.
That's some bullshit.
Champion, to me. Let honor guide your path.
No time for dreams. We have to push forward or we'll be slaughtered.
Rescue who you can along the way. I need to target something first.
Help! I can't move. Oh, Davin, are you all right?
Yes. Thanks to Grandad teaching me stone form. Wait. Where is he? We've got to find him.
Excellent! My arcane guardians will hold this area. Help the others!
I require a target. I do not have a target.
That just broke my heart. I'm still like in shock over that. Like my heart is hurting right now.
I need to target something first.
I still can't believe that, man. I'm hurting right now.
Much better.
Always stings. Get moving, Netherlord. I'll take care of the wounded here.
I require a target. I am out of range. I need to target something first.
Oh, there's a quest over here I missed. Didn't see it.
Baladash, Malanor. Use this scroll. These relics must be destroyed before they overload.
I didn't think that they were going to cut somebody out in the first 5 seconds of the fucking game. Some bullshit, man. Scott's going to be pissed.
A long road lies before us. Control your power, or it will control you.
For Azeroth.
Jaina, Grom, we need help. Magni's in trouble.
I will always try.
Pendulum, you're lost.
Follow me. Magni can't hold off Pyrrhix much longer.
We'll hold the line. Champion, help Magni.
We can't hold them!
To ground, my soldiers!
Trespassers! My directive is to protect the Isle of Dorne. Leave at once.
Trespassers? You saw us fall from the sky and fight for our lives. We need aid.
What you need matters not. Your presence is not authorized by the Titans.
The Titans?
Now, don't you be talking to my daughter like that, you great stone!
An earthen, hardened like a diamond. A Rhaegar.
You've seen others? Akin to me?
I have only heard stories of their heroics. It is a sign from the Titans.
Laddie, it weren't Titan magic that...
What he means to say is, yes, of course. And we'd be honored to.
That's hilarious.
What disaster have you brought to our city, Outlanders? New directive. We must return to the city. All of us. We protect the people of the Isle. The edict
Ooh, upgraded to.
I defend the
Ooh, that's
I
415.
must return to Dornegal. My storm riders will gather the rest of the survivors. Now, take flight.
That was pretty good. Welcome back. You missed the fucking cutscene, man. You missed some good shit. I ain't gonna spoil it for you, but man, you missed some good shit, man. I was cussing up a storm.
Guide you. I have.
We brought the Nerubians here.
No, the Nerubians were focused on the core way. The attack was another part of Zalatat's scheme. So much chaos and destruction.
We have to regroup. Has anyone seen Khadgar?
No.
We will grieve him in time. But Thrall is right. Without reinforcements, we're at Zalatat's mercy. But no matter what she's planning, we must stop her.
Jaina and I will rally the Alliance and the Horde. But it will take some time for us to sail back here.
Right. In the meantime, we'll stay here and keep the survivors safe.
You will. Not me.
Illyria, we need your...
No, you don't. I can't keep anyone safe. But I can hunt down Zalatath. And make her pay.
Let's just say, in the first 20 minutes, you're gonna be mad. Oh, we got portals.
What is your query? Fly high, strike true. I will check on my people, the Oathsworn, while you clear the rubble. Edicts guide you.
Did I miss somebody? Oh, I did.
Moss grow over us. Survivors from the beach?
If they are truly allies, perhaps all is not lost.
Welcome to...
Nerubians everywhere! Look out!
It was Odin. I knew him. His memory will be preserved. Please deposit his memory gem into the archive's repository.
So, the archive holds every Earthman's memories. Can you view them?
Communication initiated. Do you have a query?
Dagden, this seems like a place you'd be keen to explore. I'll be back for you when I know it's safe.
The Titans will return. Be ready. We are the Titans' bedrock and salvation.
The grinning totem. Or grinning reaver.
The entire isle is under attack. Praise the Titans, you are safe, Mayran.
think I gotta go above. Yeah.
Still standing.
Oh, server's bugged. I can't complete this quest because I can't talk to the flight path master. Let me try reloading. I'll come back to her.
Beds are scarce. We have resorted to using the proscenium as a field hospital.
Yeah, I just tried reloading. It didn't help.
Inquiring minds, just.
I'm not about to leave the Isle of Dorn unexplored. I have a reputation to uphold.
There we go.
Were it not for the storm,
There's too many people over there.
the city may have fallen. We need the council's direction.
Where is the last quest? Oh, there it goes.
You address the Council Ward of Dornival.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable. I bid you welcome.
Conversation initiated. Must go. The Titans uplifted 4 wards. The Council Ward, the Storm Ward, the Stone Ward, and the High Speaker. To keep the edicts and build the Coreway and its fortress, Dornival. But the Titans left, and the machines stopped. The Unbound abandoned the edicts, and the High Speaker retreated to the Ringing Deep. And now, the machine speakers are cut off from us, and we have no means to fix the Coreway.
Huh.
Do you have an appointment?
Then it seems long past time you stood united. We need to find this Edelgon, rebuild your Coreway. I'm willing to be a liaison, if you be willing to speak with her.
You are correct. Storm.
If Merrick's wasn't Council Ward, I would have never agreed to do this. You do not grasp the magnitude of her betrayal, Outlander. I have no hope for our success.
Come on, Ebona. Stay with me. Personal directive. Prioritize the wounded. We cannot fight if unidentified
Another survivor from the crash?
I'm Moira, of the Dark Iron and Bronzebeard.
Baelgrim.
Stoneward?
I am not the Stoneward. You know that.
I know you abandoned your post.
And you abandoned us.
The Coreway was attacked. It must be repaired.
We were attacked too. You should have protected.
I can see there is some history between you. But if you haven't noticed, the Nerubians have you both in their sights. You need each other, age-old drama or not.
Good job, Mora.
The unbound welcome all. As you will.
This is a waste of cycles. I will go to the quarry myself.
Get that, you crawling creeps! Won't get the best of me.
I hope they add a version of the Epic Edition mount in the game at some point. It looks awesome. I'll show them what look epic with. Yeah.
The answers are here. Let's stock up on supplies before we head in.
We're gonna make him a healer.
Let's do this. Through here.
Glad to see Adelkon finally sent us some help.
Let's rescue these folks and avoid these webs.
shockwave.
Nice fight!
Too far away.
Nice fight!
I need to target something first.
Those webs will summon Nerubians. Don't stand in them.
We'll move ahead. Meet us up above. I require a target. I do not have a target.
That's more like it.
Speak freely. No directive needed.
Another ambush. This must be how they captured the others.
Watch your step.
All right. New directives. You take out the Nerubians ahead, and we'll follow behind. I need to target something first.
That was pretty fun. The first delve I've done. I got to go pee. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back.
There's more pets to explore out there. And you know me, can't resist a good cave.
People you feared. Quarry is overrun with Fungarians.
And whose fault is that? Your edict is to protect the Isle, not just the city, and not just the Oathsworn. Greetings, Outlander. Heed the call.
Welcome back. You just missed my first level.
Conversation initiated. Outlander, you gather the ore. Edelgard, how can I help?
Appreciate it. Yeah, I know, right?
I require a target.
That's what I'm hoping, that it doesn't take too long.
I am out of range. I need to target something first.
I speak for the Unbound, but they have no master.
The edicts are my guide.
Conversation initiated. This poultice can mend even our stone bodies. Baelgrim, your help is appreciated.
faster than going on foot?
I have never ridden one, but how difficult can it... Whoa there!
I'll bring the Unbound to the Coreway. We'll meet you in Dornegal.
Damn bugs! They're attacking our injured! Do you require aid? I must defend my people!
Pick up that cinder bouquet. I have an idea.
Ha! I knew it would work. Let's light them up.
Hold on! Help is on the way! Find cover, quickly!
I do not have a target. I require a target.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
I need to target something first. I require a target.
protect the Coreway.
Yeah, man.
Before us stands the Stormfront, Outlander. It is the command center and rookery for all Storm Riders. This is highly irregular. Why are these Storm Rooks tethered here?
Thank the Titans you are here. The Storm Perch has been breached, and the Storm Riders corrupted. Hurry! If we free these Storm Rooks, we can fly them and try to end this. I do not have a target.
Outlander, with me.
What are you doing? Stop this!
I require a target.
What is that orb? Dark energy, and it's affecting the Storm Rocks.
What dark magic is this? How dare they defile their own Storm Rooks? I need to target something first. Gorin, what have you done?
The title! The glory! It should have been mine, Pilgrim!
I left Gorin, my second, in charge of the Storm Perch when I left to investigate your Dalaran's crash. What has that traitor allowed to happen in my absence? I need to target something first. I require a target.
Watch your step.
I will deactivate
Pulling in.
Edict has been changed by some dark influence.
Pulling in.
Go, find Volkmar. He will take you to safety.
Pulling in. Watch wave. Pulling in. Run. Watch your feet. Watch wave.
burrow near the meeting. They must be after the cinder block.
And without the Storm Riders.
Greetings, Outlander.
I will not fail again.
Conversation terminated. We protect the people of the Isle. Be vigilant.
On your signal, I'll lure the Nerubians to the meeting.
And we will prepare a welcome for our guests.
to cinders. Return to the meadery. I'll lead them into the trap.
The edicts are my guide. Be vigilant. It is my oath-sworn duty.
The Nerubians will soon start swarming from the north.
Place our defenses in their path. The honey will slow them down, and the mead and pollen will help us tear through them. We are out of time. Come, let us get you on a storm rook. I follow the council's direction.
Prepare yourselves. They're coming.
We will keep them gathered by the kegs, thin out the swarm, and stop them from getting past us.
And from wrecking my meadery before we do.
Belgrim, they're chewing through the fuses.
We still have 2 fuses left. Keep fighting. Keep drawing them in.
No, they severed all of the fuses.
Stay focused. These monsters cannot leave here alive. Outlander.
The fuses! We can't ignite the kegs!
I must fulfill my edict.
What? Forget the edicts!
I cannot. That is why it must be me. You must guide the earthen.
Belgrim!
One last ride, then you're free. Syrinx! My directive is to protect this isle and the earthen. All the earthen. Glory to the Titans! Long live the earthen!
forgot I sent you away. I have been busy addressing our greatest problem. The awakening machine. What distractions have you brought before me this time, Prince?
These outlanders crashed on our shores.
I have no time for your misadventures.
High Speaker, the Nerubians.
Enough! Outlanders, you may wander where you will. But when you are done, return from whence you came. The High Speaker has spoken!
Reactive. Back to it.
Outside Speaker Bryn, you've returned. Unlike the missing shipment from Warlock and its foreman.
Praise the machine. It's Bryn. Are you here to deal with the kobold raids? The High Speaker won't.
Bryn. Speaker acknowledged. Thank the Titans you're here. We lose more of our kin with each passing.
So this awakening machine is what recharges the earthen.
Yes, but it has been broken for millennia. That is why our numbers are dwindling. Moira, please continue speaking to the citizens here. Outlander, I'd like your help with this kobold problem. Look at this mess. Beaten back and battered with nothing to show for it.
Please proceed. Another interruption.
As expected, I suppose. We're engineers and crafters, not soldiers.
Candlekin is crazy, forcing kobolds into war, but Mummy wants peace.
disaster for Gundergaz.
You have keys? Keep eyes out for shinies. Bring back Smack.
Conversation initiated. We'll meet you on the inside.
I require a target.
Do what? What?